We have a lot of education options available today. We have the ICSC, we have the IG, we have the IB, and I don't know how many I's and how many C's and how many B's more. But more importantly, as you rightly pointed out, inculcating life skills is the most important thing for any child, because the word education comes from the Greek word educe. Educe means to come from within and to become a good human being, to become a good citizen. And I think our education system focuses on making engineers and doctors and IAS officers and scientists, but less on becoming a good citizen, a good human being.
Absolutely.
And whichever board the child studies in, my daughter studies in ICSC, and I see that a lot of these curriculums are more global oriented, to make yourself a global citizen. And while becoming a global citizen, we tend to forget our own history, our own tradition, our own heritage. A lot of you, I'm sure, must have traveled abroad, and you go to these places and they proudly present to you their palaces, their museums, their forts, which is what, 100, 200, 300 years old, maybe 400 years old. We have a history of 7,000 years, right, starting from the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. And the Britishers converted our history into mythology. There is difference between history and mythology. Mythology is fictional, whereas history is a factual based. Put a question mark in front of our history and we tend to forget our own history and our tradition today. I remember when I was studying in the SSC curriculum, we had an extensive history on Chhatrapati Shivaji in 4th standard itself, which was repeated again in 7th standard. Our history, actually, if you closely study our history, it talks about self-pride, esteem, freedom, and also becoming good human beings, and also love for your own nation and your motherland. And I think these things are missing somewhere today. And although these curriculums don't focus so much on these things, our history and our tradition, I think we as parents should try and bring these values and these facts and our tradition and culture in front of our kids and make them learn it, although not academically, but maybe in the form of storybooks or maybe serials or whatever, videos, and try and inculcate these values. Because now today Indians are ruling across the world. We have a British Prime Minister who is of Indian origin. And the British once ruled India for 150 years. So if we are trying to rule the world, we better learn our history, our tradition, our culture, which is very, very rich. And in fact, I know of one French author named François Gautier, who migrated to India. There are people from India who migrate abroad. Now he migrated from France to India, and he's a very well-known historian, and he studies Indian history, and he's actually made a museum on Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in Pune. So imagine a French author, a French historian coming to India and making a museum on Indian king on Indian soil. And whereas we Indians tend to, so I think this is the need of the hour today.